Welcome back into Grand Slam Sports. I am Charles Foster, joined with
Samuel Gailey.
And Dylan Euler.
And to start off this episode, we're going to be talking about some Monday Night Football as always. We had a pretty interesting Monday Night Football game between the Dolphins and the Rams. So as we look at these teams, what are you kind of thinking about these two teams coming into this game?
I really like this matchup in a lot of ways. I mean, you got Puka back, you got Cooper Kupp back at, I wouldn't say full health, but pretty close, right? Really liked how the Rams came out, right? Stafford throwing the ball pretty well. My only thing about this game is that they didn't get Tyreek Hill involved at all. That's just my thought. If you're going to go up against a bigger time opponent, or especially in the AFC East where it's very competitive, at least in the bottom three, right, trying to get by for that playoff spot, I think you have to get your number one wide receiver involved.
No, I totally agree. I mean, he had 2 catches and less than 20 yards.
16 yards and a touchdown.
And a touchdown, which is nice.
Yeah,
and he's opening things up for other people, and they ended up winning, which is nice. So everyone's happy. But to really be competitive in the AFC in this division, you're going to have to open up Tyreek Hill somehow.
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking at a division that has been disappointing, but I think that as a team, the Dolphins, they've been kind of disappointing looking at obviously the quarterback situation, but I think that Tyreek Hill, he's not really been too much in the mix as much as what we would want him to be, and I think that's been part of the Dolphins' struggles this year. So I think they definitely need to figure out what they're doing because they have such a talented offense, but an offense that they just don't use.
The problem I'm going to say, because I'm going before you go, Dylan. I mean, I think the problem with the Dolphins' offense is that it's very one-sided. It's a track star environment where if they can't utilize their speed, it's kind of difficult for them to move the ball. I mean, you're looking at Tyreek Hill, you're looking at a Shane, you're looking at multiple other factors in that offense. The speed is there. If we don't get the speed going, it's like in a Ferrari. I mean, the Ferrari's useless unless you have the gas pedal to use it.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have that going, then it's pretty difficult for them to move the ball.
And looking at the other side of the ball, the Dolphins' defense did their job, but I really feel like it was more of a downshift for the Rams' offense as a whole. I feel like Stafford is sometimes a bit streaky. He can have these nights where he's amazing. He looks like the best quarterback in the NFL. And then nights like this where he's completing maybe half of his passes, 60% of his passes, and not really getting much done.
Absolutely. And looking at last night's game, what was a pretty fun one between two of the best teams in the NFC East. We saw the Commanders and the Eagles. Eagles looked very good last night. What are you guys thinking?
I think the Eagles definitely turned things up towards the end of the game. That first half, it feels like kind of a boxing match. You know what I mean? They're kind of feeling each other out first couple of rounds, seeing what's going to happen. But then that second half, things really start to open up for the Eagles, and I think the better team ended up prevailing in the end.
No, I think the person who ended up prevailing is Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
You're looking at Jalen Hurts, who right now is struggling to throw the ball near the end zone. I mean, you have a play that's basically broken, and if it's in Madden, then they're going to patch it because the tush push should be illegal. How good it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Philly is going to struggle in the postseason.
Really?
Where there's a run. I think they're going to struggle because they can't throw a passing touchdown to save their lives. And I think it's going to be difficult for them if they come up against an opponent who is going to stack the box against Saquon Barkley, not let him go, and have one or two good DBs or strong safeties to help with A.J. Brown because Devontae Smith only had 3 catches last night for about 36 yards.
No,
that's not a very the second highest receiver in Philadelphia was Goddard, the tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, you're telling me you have Slim Reaper, you have A.J. Brown, and you have Saquon Barkley coming out of the backfield, and your second highest receiver is Goddard. And A.J. Brown, besides the first drive, was really heard from until the fourth quarter. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Giants are definitely punching the air right now because this is a Giants team that just let Saquon go, and I think that Barkley has really looked completely different, but I also think it was interesting to kind of see how the Commanders go against another top talent because they have had a very good record, but they've not gone against a lot of top talents this year.
No.
So, I mean, now that they're going against a team like the Eagles, do you think that – I think the question is now raised, like, are they fraudulent or is it just a rough game? I don't know.
I just think they were a year too early. I think Jane Daniels is awesome, and I think this team just needs one more offseason to really put some more pieces around him and to really build up this squad to what it could become. I just think they're overperforming right now.
I really want to agree with you there, Dylan, but I believe that if they got another top wide receiver, then they would be cooking this year. So in some of these aspects, like I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. But I mean, you have Austin Eckler as wide receiver 2 last night with 6 receptions for 81 yards.
He was by far the leading receiver.
By far the most lethal receiver they have. Scary Terry got targeted once.
Yeah.
For 10 yards. I mean, that's ridiculous.
And
I would
speaking
say
of
that's a testament to the Eagles' defense.
Absolutely. But speaking of non-lethal offenses, let's talk about an offense that just fired the offensive coordinator, the Chicago Bears.
Bear
Dylan,
down.
the Bears fan here. What are you feeling about this Bears move?
Too little, too late. I have way too much to say about this. I'm going to the desk.
So Dylan is actually currently leaving the field, it looks like. So Dylan actually is going to bring back a new segment that we're going to be starting called the GSS Rant, or the 1-minute drill. So Dylan, you have 1 minute. Let's talk about your Bears.
To quote Albert Einstein, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Mitch Trubisky fired the head coach after his first season, brought in a whole new offense. He struggled. Justin Fields fired their head coach and their whole staff after his first year. Had to learn a brand new offense, struggled. I can't imagine Caleb Williams is going to do very well in year 2, and I can't imagine that Eberflus is going to survive this season and survive the offseason. So what are we doing? There is no motivation, there is no passion, there is no oomph. Everyone's not running, no one's motivated. The defense can only hold up so long. They let up 19 points to Drake May and the Patriots. We had 3 points on offense against the Patriots' defense. It is just not looking good in Chicago. It is not sunshine and rainbows, as my outfit would show. And it is bad news Bears.
Bad news Bears, the best way to describe it. And as we're going to kind of talk about the future of these teams, and obviously the Bears are in a pretty bad spot, so we're going to talk about the future of our teams with the draft coming up. Obviously, I'm a Jets fan, Patriots fan.
Let's go.
We have a Bears
hold
fan
on, he's got to get back up here. It's a long walk for him.
And the Bears fan.
And the Bears.
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 Obviously, with the draft, we're halfway through the season. We're starting to figure out, all of our teams are likely going to be in those top early picks. Yeah. What do you think your team needs to aim for this upcoming draft?
Travis Hunter. If we do not get Travis Hunter, I am going to the top of this building and jumping off. You're telling me that a top-tier talent we have not seen since Deion Sanders, who can double as a wide receiver and a DB, and play at a competent level.
He's nice.
If we don't take him with the 6th pick right now, where we're currently
is he gonna fall to you?
Yes, he is. Heck yeah, he's gonna fall because you can't afford to not take quarterback in the first 3 picks. I mean, if you're
are there enough quarterbacks in this draft class to warrant those top picks though?
He's not falling.
I don't think he's falling past the top 5.
He's not falling past top 3.
Top 3.
Honestly, if we see like a Jags with the number 1 overall, number 2 overall pick like we think they are, they're taking Trevor.
Oh, Trevor Lawrence stinks.
They like Trevor Lawrence. No, they just paid him like $100 million.
Yeah. You can't
give
up on Trevor Lawrence.
So they're not giving up on him. This quarterback class is not good enough. Travis Hunter will not fall, and the Patriots have a habit of keep on winning.
And listen,
listen,
you beat us, and you hit your draft pick. So
they beat the Jets too. Also ruined their draft pick some more.
I mean, suffering from success is what I'm hearing.
So as we look at the Bears now, what do you think they need to do?
I would trade the entire 2025 draft to run it back, fire Eberflus in the offseason, and hire Ben Johnson and run it back. But in seriousness, I think we need something along that defensive line, some more pass rushing juice, and maybe a receiver. I mean, if Keenan Allen's gone, DJ Moore didn't do anything against this Patriots defense.
But is it really DJ Moore's fault or Caleb Williams throwing it at his feet? I mean, come on.
I mean, I don't know. I think we got to see what the rest of the season looks like and see how these players play for their jobs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that the Bears, they are in a weird position where they suck, but they don't suck.
On paper, we do not suck.
Exactly.
My Patriots suck.
And it's the same thing with the Jets, where like both of these two teams on paper are great.
Yeah.
You guys are boo-boo.
They just cannot play.
We are both underperforming.
More than we are awful. But looking at the Jets in their draft, kind of what I'm looking at, I definitely think Will Campbell is definitely where I'm looking at. That I'm an LSU fan, love Will Campbell. I think that bringing another O lineman would be nice. But I also can see them. I don't know how they feel about Jordan Travis, and that's where the question now is raised: was Jordan Travis drafted to actually be the quarterback of the future, or is this the year that they start to kind of look at it with Aaron Rodgers being a fossil?
It's definitely an internal discussion that they'll have to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I heard that he went to the Natural Arts Museum of New York, and he had an interview there. So
Yeah.
we'll see him.
Aaron Rodgers is
Setting up his new home or
setting
something.
up his new home.
definitely been a rough year for the Jets, but I think that it will be very interesting to see where they turn. There's a lot of talent on that Jets roster. It just needs to be, they need to figure something out.
Does Aaron Rodgers come back?
He said that he wants to. I would not be surprised if they shut him down early, so that he can come back for another year. I would not be surprised.
Tyrod Taylor season.
Tyrod Taylor season. Maybe Jordan Travis gets some reps if they decide to activate him.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends on that. But I think the Jets are in a solid place. I think they just need to get their stuff together. Also, if we do end
The
up
roster's,
hiring,
the roster's in a solid place.
yeah, if we do end up hiring Matt Nagy like we've been rumored to, I will be
Good luck.
bandwagoning away.
Good luck.
I do not
Good
want
luck.
to experience that. So as we look at pick 6, we
Yeah.
have some interesting games this week. First one that we're going to talk about, a not so interesting one. We got the Rams and the Patriots.
Whoa! It is interesting because
Sam?
my Drake May's gonna ball out here. Drake May has been showing up. He got 11 points, fantasy points last week. I mean, he had a touchdown, 184 yards against the Bears. I mean, hey, that's okay. It's improvement. It's actually, he has more passing touchdowns than Caleb Williams. He has more passing touchdowns in 5 games. He has 8 touchdown passes in 5 games. You can't tell me that's not good quarterback play. I got the Patriots here.
Dylan,
Stats are
I'm taking
stats.
the Rams. I think Stafford goes through these ebbs and flows, and I don't think he has 2 bad games in a row. I don't think his offense has 2 bad games in a row.
give me the Rams as well. As we look at the next
Haters.
game, Ravens
Yeah, we are.
versus Steelers. We're going to have a pretty fun AFC North, the fun division.
The fun division.
The crash out division.
The crash out division.
Give me the Ravens taking this one. I think that they just look too good right now. I think they're gonna come out on top.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good ground and pound. One of those old school games where I'm gonna hit you harder. I got the Ravens coming out of this one. King Henry just can't be denied.
It's going to be a clean sweep. I've got the Ravens as well, taking one from the Steelers at home.
Yes, sir.
As we look at a pretty fun one, Colts and Jets. It's gonna be me and Jace's team. We're gonna be fighting about that. Poverty versus poverty. It's gonna be an interesting game. Dylan, what are you thinking?
I think Anthony Richardson coming back. I think him sitting for a couple of games. We saw what it did for Bryce Young with the Panthers. I think he comes back with a bit of juice. I think this run game is a bit revitalized. I'm taking the Colts in this one.
For once in my life, I have to choose between Dumb and Dumber as a Patriots fan. But to Charles's happiness, I am going to take the Jets here. I think they're grasping at straws. They need a win. I have the Jets here.
Until about maybe 20 minutes ago, I had the Colts, but I am loyal, so I'm going with the Jets.
You're
The
not
Jets-
loyal. You're not
the
loyal. You
Jets
just-
are coming out on top despite us getting whooped by the Cardinals. Looking at the
Imposter.
next game, we got the Seahawks and Niners. CMC back. Who do you guys got here?
I'm going first here. I got the Seahawks. I
Really?
really do. I think the
Okay.
wide receiver core of a wilted flower, Debo Samuel, Ayuk's gone for the year, Ricky Pearsall. I think the Seahawks take this with their good defense.
Dylan?
I think the Niners are going to win this one. I think they're back to winning football games. I think Christian McCaffrey coming back into this offense really inserts the yak, that really just inserts an underneath option that they hadn't had throughout this season. So I
Absolutely.
think this is the Niners game to lose.
Give me Niners as well. We're going to speed through these last 2. We got Chiefs versus Bills. Undefeated versus pretty good. I'm going with the underdog. Give me the Bills taking out this one.
I got the Bills too. Josh
I
Allen.
want to pick the Bills, but you can't bet against them.
No, it's Bills. You
can't bet
have to
against
believe in something.
Someone's got to do
You
it.
have to do
Broncos
it.
almost did it. I have faith. Bengals versus Chargers, last one. I'm going to go first. We got the Bengals.
Got the Chargers.
I got the Chargers
here.
as well.
Got the Chargers.
Give me Joe Burr. All right, as we look at our rookie report here now.
Shout out Kennedy Phelps.
Shout out Kennedy
Shout
Phelps,
out
our
Kennedy.
director. I was going to do some of the Raptors duo, but Jared McCain last night popped off, and he has continued to do that. On the season, he's averaging 13 and a half points for a Sixers team that has and then we look at his last few games. He's had 23-plus points in his last 3 games, including a 30-plus point night last night as well. So, I mean, he's just done a good job, and he was a 16th overall pick in the draft. And honestly, in my opinion, he has been one of the best rookies.
Yeah, I mean, he's really been doing his thing, scoring points, handling the ball. He's just a stud.
Absolute stud.
Stud alert.
Stud alert. As we look at our next rookie, Dylan?
I've got Ricky Pearsall of the 49ers.
Smart pick.
He had a really nice
Anyway.
game. He filled in for Ayuk as wide receiver 1, scored his first career touchdown. I just think he was doing a lot of really nice things.
Dude, homie legitimately is built different.
He is built different.
He quite literally is built different. I really like your pick. I mean, you
appreciate
stole it before I did. I was pretty mad about that, but I think they drafted him for a reason. He showed his upside, especially in this game.
And we saw C.J. Stroud's reaction to them drafting him in his little live show. He was devastated for a reason, clearly for a reason.
No.
Yeah, Ricky Parcells coming into a team that has so much talent, and I think that the biggest issue for the Niners has just been injuries. I mean, I feel like the injury cart's been out on the field more than their players, and that's been the issue the past few years. I mean, there's a reason that Purdy's their franchise quarterback now is because of those injuries putting them in that position. Yeah. Parcells gotten a much more elevated role than what a lot of people would have expected because of that. So I think that he has definitely shined in that role.
For sure.
Sam?
Lastly, mine, because I had to scramble to figure out one that was not Ricky Pearsall. I have this man for a reason. Del Pettis, New England Patriots, cornerback. The reason why I took him is the Patriots have a way of finding players that are non-conventional, right? This is an undrafted free agent from Troy. Over the past 4 games, he has stepped in for Jarrell Peppers, who was jailed due to off-field activities. But last week against the Bears, he had 1 sack, 2 free solo tackles, and he comes from this blue-collar, I wasn't even drafted, I'm here to prove something. And I think the Patriots always capitalize on those types of players.
Absolutely. I mean, historically, the Patriots' entire good team does not come from good draft picks. I mean, they have a habit of just like wasting the first rounds.
Okay.
And then going on to the next.
That's kind of true.
So we'll kind of see what's going on with those rookies as the rest of the season goes. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back here with Sam on soccer.
Welcome back into Grand Slam Sports. Samuel Gailey. We're going to, instead of throwing the ball, we're going to put it on the ground. We're going to kick it. How about that? We got soccer segment here for you coming at you. First things off, England, for the first time in a while, they're not playing boring. They are actually playing soccer. I mean, they scored 3 goals. I mean, one was an own goal, so you can basically say that they technically didn't score it. You got Ollie Watkins sitting in there scoring their first goal to lead things off, and then Curtis Jones sort of finishing things off on the 3rd goal. But I think England look good. I think they look organized. I think they have a means to attack. I mean, this old system, Gareth Southgate, of mixing and matching players, putting players out of position. You had Bukayo Saka, that's a right wing, playing left back in the Euros last year. I mean, you can't tell me that does not raise some eyebrows. I think this change of regime looks good. And this is the interim coach. I can't wait till Thomas Tuchel gets in here. Oh, and did I mention Harry Kane didn't even play. He didn't even start. The England captain didn't even start. Ollie Watkins started in his place. They reap those rewards. Man right there scores a goal. England wins 3-0. Now, on to my next slide right here. A household name that people should know, but is going to be increasingly hard to pronounce. I was talking to our producer, Evan Porterfield, over the phone. I said, hey, you need to put this segment in. He said, oh, I got this. What is his name? Well, his name is Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, and he's from Georgia. And that last name, by the way, is 15 letters of, oh my gosh, how do you spell this? This man, left wing for Napoli, looks good. He looks fantastic on the ball, and he looks fantastic off the ball. Offers from Barcelona, Man United. They're going to be flying in this summer, especially with Napoli not really producing the same amount of talent, the same amount of winning this year as they have in the past year. So look for this man in the transfer market, especially this upcoming transfer window in January. My last but not least, poor Lionel Messi loses to Paraguay. 2-1. What went wrong? Argentina didn't want to win the game. I get it. It's not a huge deal. But anytime Argentina loses, to me, that's a huge deal. I mean, you have players that are outdated. They need to go. Tagliafico needs to go. You need to bring in young talent. And I'm not even speaking that because I'm an Argentina hater. That's what every soccer team needs to do to be successful in this game. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back here on Grand Slam Sports.
Welcome back into Grand Slam Sports. And we're back with Evan Porterfield, my other producer. And we're going to start off with Evan's Rookie of the Week.
My rookie, guys, we got Dalton Connect, which I like that name for basketball because it's like he connected the ball into the hoop.
Or Connect 4.
or
That's
Connect
number
4
4.
because he's number 4. Dang. Okay. Well, this guy's kind of the GOAT. He's kind of great. He's doing great for the Los Angeles team. I like this guy, JJ Redick, the coach, of course. He says this guy's a catalyst for the team to come back, especially last game where he scored 19 points. Killed it, did amazing, love him. He's great at the distance shots. He's looking really good, 19 points, 2 rebounds. And LeBron James gave him a little shout out, which I love because, LeBron James.
That's the GOAT. That's the
LeBron
GOAT.
James.
That's the GOAT.
Yeah, no, this guy's great. Just a really good rookie year so far.
Absolutely, and as we look at really good and the last year, whenever we first brought Evan on for the first time, it was to talk about our favorite and least favorite city jerseys. With the city jerseys being released the other day, we're going to be talking about our favorites and our least favorites. I'm going to go first with my favorite city jersey, and I think I'm unpopular. I would say the Raptors, but that's just boring. Everyone's saying the Raptors. I'm going with Memphis. Memphis has such a clean red. I love the way that the jersey looks, and I love the shout out back to some of their older jerseys. I think it looks great. Evan, what's your favorite jersey?
Okay, when we talk about my favorites here, I like the Magic. Where are they at? Magic. Maybe a little basic, but also like kind of cutesy. And then you got Utah. I like it. I like the mountains. It's like that water brand. And then, my least favorite, honestly, okay, this is a little rant, because I hate Indies.
Okay.
Listen, the city jersey is supposed to represent the city, right?
Fair.
Why do we have like a spray paint theme? That doesn't make sense. When you think about Indy, are you thinking of spray paint and like that? Like, I don't know.
I don't hate it because I think the main issue with Indy's jerseys is every single year it's just cars. No one cares about cars all the time. So I think it's different. I think the jersey looks okay, but I do understand does not fit the city as much. I don't want to fit the theme of our favorite team's jersey sucking, but I'm going to continue that theme. What is this, Boston? We are good at literally everything but city jerseys. We have never had a good city jersey. So looking at this looks like something out of like a high school no, it doesn't even look like something out of a high school AAU tournament. You know those little tournaments, those little 3-on-3 tournaments that charities run? It looks like some custom jersey that some random kid made. Not a fan of these jerseys at all.
I'll give you that, Charles. At least Indies looks good. The Celtics just look so boring.
We win everything but our jerseys.
Yeah.
However, looking into the NBA Cup and things that we did not win, the NBA Cup was the other day, and the Celtics lose to the Hawks, despite being the odds-on betting favorite. How are you feeling about that Celtics loss?
Yeah, it's kind of concerning because the Celtics are supposed. Well, I mean, going in, we both thought that they were going to be the GOATs and absolutely devour everybody up, and they're not. And it's just kind of weird because they're giving up 52 points a game. That's concerning. It's a red flag. Might not be the worst thing, but it's definitely something to be concerned about and definitely something to keep your eye on because this is supposed to be the team. And they're giving up too many points.
Agreed.
Way too many.
I think that the Celtics defense, while being injured, they've just not looked the way that they're supposed to look. And I think that, like you said, that transition, the way that they've been scoring off turnovers, I think that's been one of the biggest issues for this team. So I think they definitely need to clean it up. I think a lot of it does come down to some injuries, but I think that it is just a lack of want. We said it last year whenever the Pacers beat the Celtics in the tournament last year. I did say Celtics were going to win it all. I'm just saying they did. But they can't win the games in the middle of the season because it just feels like they only play good in those 7-game series. They give up too many easy ones. As we kind of look at another fun game, we see a little reunion. The Mavs and the Warriors, a very fun game. Klay Thompson finally back at the Warriors' home. How do you feel about that?
I like the Mavs and the Warriors. I like both teams, so it's kind of fun to just watch them both play against each other. I was a little disappointed because I thought the Mavs, I was disappointed in Luka specifically, giving up that little defensive block. He could have blocked the final dunk, and the Warriors ended up winning, but it was still a good game. I like the matchup. It's always fun seeing two great teams play against each other.
Absolutely, and the Warriors, they have been great. They look fantastic. I think that they actually have a chance to make a solid run this season. And I think that the biggest thing for them will be, can they stay healthy? Can they stay consistent? Beating against the team that won the West last year is a big deal. Obviously, the Western Conference is a lot better, But I think the Mavericks, they are kind of at the top of that Western Conference. So getting that win there, very important. And I think that the Warriors, I mean, Klay Thompson, he looked good. But Steph Curry, like he said, that's his home, that's his team, and it's right. It's the house that Steph Curry built, and I think that the Warriors looked very good. As we look on to the last game that we're going to cover, game I never thought I would cover, we got the Pistons and the Heat, which was somehow an actual banger. It was a great game as the Heat lose that one because of a crucial error by Coach Spell.
Yeah, like he didn't have any timeouts and he called a timeout. So I don't know what the disconnect was with his team there. Maybe something to be concerned about. Maybe the team is not communicating like they should be. But yeah, I mean, it was a good game. It's unfortunate that it had to have gotten the L because of that.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a Pistons team that, while they do look good, now granted, looking better than what you were last year is not a big accomplishment. They were bad last year, really bad. But I think that the biggest issue with the Heat is this was a team that was supposed to be a threat in the East, and they just don't look good. Neither do the Bucks, neither do any other team but the Cavaliers and the Celtics in the East. The East is really bad, and that kind of leads into the disparity of talent that we've been seeing between these two sides. So I think that'll be a pretty big issue, and probably one that we will dive deeper into once the season gets more going, because the East is not good and the West is too good. Some teams are going to be fighting for play-in spots with 50 wins. So I think that right there is going to be a disparity, and I think the Heat are a prime example of a good team that's not good.
Yeah.
So as we look on and we move on, we got the Thunder, a team that is young, they're youthful, they're very fun. I love this Thunder team, but they have no center because every last one of them has managed to get hurt. Where are the Thunder going to have to go here? Do you think that they try and find a new center, or do you think that they kind of go with the small ball lineup?
I think they're going to keep with what they're doing. I've always been the biggest believer of a really good center, or really any center can either make or break a team. You can have the best center ever, and that is your team. And it sucks that they don't have a center because I do think it's so crucial to have one. However, I think they're just going to kind of keep it rolling with what they're doing. They seem that they're managing to still get blocks, and they can jump, but it would be nice to have a center for sure. So I'm not really quite sure what the right move for them is right now.
I think the biggest thing for me with the Thunder, and I think that for me what kind of confuses me about them is, yes, they have the talent and making a trade can be crucial for them, but at the same time, I do believe that the trade is the best option because this is, like I said, a Western Conference that is so stacked. So you can't just wait out until you eventually make the playoffs because that's not a guarantee in the West. So my move here is look for a team that has a center that is available. A team that has already made themselves known to have a center available is the Utah Jazz with Walker Kessler. One of my favorite shot blocking centers, and he's available for, I want to say they said only a first. Now this is a Thunder team that has every first possible. They can draft the entirety of this high school draft class and they'd still have a full team. So that's the issue is, in my opinion, get rid of one of those picks because I think the Thunder are starting to become more win now. But at the same time, obviously, like you said, you never know how it's going to turn out. Those centers will be back.
Yeah.
So I think that it kind of does show, it is a question. It is a toss-up, and I think this is what makes the best GMs the best GMs.
Right. It's a little too early in my opinion. In my opinion, just wait a little bit, and worst case scenario, hopefully you can find somebody.
Absolutely. And looking at some of the early player of the week matchups, we got this week's player of the week, we got Darius Garland and Nikola Jokic. Darius Garland, he was someone that I made fun of a lot last year because he was very bad in the playoffs. Let's be honest. Donovan Mitchell was doing everything that he could to carry this team, and Darius Garland was there. He got his attendance points, nothing more. And now he is completely turned around. He has been having an absolute vengeance this season, and I think that the Cavaliers currently look like the best team in the East right now, even over Boston, even over some of these other teams. And I think the Cavaliers, they may be legit.
I think they're legit. Last time we talked about them, I wasn't quite sure. I was still a little iffy. And now I'm just starting to think this is a very legit team because of, Darius, but also just the overall team is very well-rounded, which is making for just the perfect team. Everybody can do a little bit of everything, which is awesome. And I don't know, I like this pick for the player of the week. Really great pick. The Cavs are doing great. Darius just being another integral part of that team.
Absolutely. And as we look at another team that is doing pretty solid, and their center, the man that is making MVP voters tired of him. Nikola Jokic has looked phenomenal this season, and obviously a very well-earned player of the week. I mean, this is a Nuggets team that has a chance to compete for finals. What do you think about this Nuggets coming into this year?
You know, I like the Nuggets, and I like Jokic. I'm going to be honest with you, Charles, not really following the Nuggets this year. Kind of focusing on my teams, but they're looking good. Every time I see them, they're looking good. I like Jokic. I like that guy a lot.
Jokic is good. He's a dog. He goes against everything that a stereotypical basketball player should be. I think that the Nuggets are going to look great, just like the Cavaliers, who still remain undefeated to this day. That's going to be all from Grand Slam Sports today. I'm Charles Foster, Evan Porterfield. Have a good night.